Now for news around the East African region. In Kenya, a wheelchair user has hit out at Ethiopian Airlines, saying he was abandoned by airport staff who refused to help him board a flight leaving the Kenyan capital Nairobi for the US. In a series of tweets and Facebook posts, author and disability rights campaigner Harun Hassan said he was treated insensitively, with one member of staff impolitely telling him there's no provision for a disabled person who is traveling alone. The Ethiopian airline later apologized to Hassan and offered him a business class travel on condition he deletes the social media posts, which he declined to do. In South Sudan, the Speaker of South Sudan's Maiwut state has dismissed reports claiming he has been impeached and replaced from his parliamentary role, pointing accusing fingers at the incumbent governor. Shuwal D. Kir, Speaker of Maiwut State Transitional Legislative Assembly, told the Sudan Tribune yesterday that reports claiming he was removed from his position were advancing the activities of the governor and his group, whose activities are not based on the Constitution and guiding principles. Now in news around the world, in Sudan, the country is due to announce members of a new cabinet faced with a mountain of challenges after months of unrest, including rebuilding the economy and ending internal conflicts. Newly appointed Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok will name his key picks from nominees put forward by the Forces for Freedom and Change, an umbrella group that led protests against veteran President Omar al-Bashir and the generals who ousted him in April. The cabinet announcement comes after a joint civilian military ruling body was sworn in last week to steer the country through a 3-year transitional period. In the Gambia, the country is mourning the first president of Gambia, Dawda Jawara, who died Tuesday at the age of 95. In online comments, President Barrow described Jawara's death as a great loss to the country in particular and humanity in general. Jawara is the first president of the Gambia following independence from Britain. A state funeral will be held Thursday. Jawara, a Glasgow-trained veterinary doctor, led the former British colony to independence on 18th February 1965 until July 1994, when his reign was brought to an end by a bloodless military coup led by Yahya Jammeh, who went on to rule the tiny West African state for 22 years. In Mali, more than 1,000 trucks loaded with merchandise were blocked at the entrance to Mali's capital, Bamako, Tuesday, the 4th day of protests against the poor state of the country's roads. AFP reporters witnessed a line of trucks snaking about a dozen kilometers along the road that leads from the Kati toll station, some 15 kilometers outside the capital, to the country's west and beyond to Senegal and Mauritania. The protest started on August 23rd in the western city of Kais, when hundreds of residents blocked the main bridge over the Senegal River. Now from China, a Chinese Catholic bishop has been ordained with the joint approval of the Pope and Beijing for the first time under an agreement intended at encouraging a rapprochement between China and the Holy See. China's roughly 12 million Catholics have for decades been split between a government-run association whose clergy were chosen by the atheist Communist Party and an official underground church loyal to the Vatican. But under the terms of the deal agreed in September last year, both Beijing and the Vatican will now have a say in appointing Catholic bishops. China's official church, the Chinese Catholic Patriotic Association, said Yao Shun was ordained as Bishop of the Diocese of Lankwab in North China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region Monday. The law in China requires priests and bishops to register and align with the country's official church. In Japan, 2 people were confirmed dead today as heavy rains pounded southwest Japan, prompting floods and landslide warnings and orders for 670,000 people to seek safety. Nearly 1 million more people were advised to leave their homes after the country's weather agency raised the alert to its highest level for parts of northern Kyushu. The emergency warning is issued if there's a significant likelihood of catastrophes. We now take a break and return with news in business.